Hey, good morning. Martin Chuck here. This is awesome. Have my cup of coffee. PGA. The PGA Championship is on. We are in episode 13. Crazy of Modern Golf with Martin Chuck. So cheers to that. Little delicious Colombian roast here. We call that a cup of gravy, my college buddy and I. Let me set that coffee down. Probably need a little bit more of that this morning. This is the putting episode. You know, the PGA Championship, they're going to play 7 majors in like a short window. If Tiger is ever going to do the catch Jack Nicklaus, now's the time. I think we'll look at the leaderboard here in a second. But I have to show you this clip. Producer Steve, let's have a little looky here. Let's roll this clip from yesterday because this is a big lesson for everybody here. Like, check out this video. Let's see if we can get this playing. We're going to take a look at Ricky Fowler, my favorite putting stroke on the PGA Tour. Hits a beautiful little 10-footer. He's looking at his caddy. He's like, man, it's supposed to go this way. It went that way. Oh, pointing at maybe the bump it hit. Oh, what was that? And this is when you're walking off the green and you're going, oh my gosh, what did I just do? He's got a beautiful round going. He's 4 under par to that point. He's fighting a good fight to get back inside the cut line. And then we have a, right? Tap that ball, hit it an inch. Oh no! And he missed that. You know, so obviously you got to count that. But you know, we don't need to see that again. It's Producer Steve, get that off there. You know, we always learn these harsh lessons in golf. You know, to take these moments seriously. A beautiful 350-yard drive, a Bryson DeChambeau Hulk smash is the same as a tap in, right? So the putting episode, it's really how you finish every hole. You've got to be a decent putter. You know, let's continue on with the PGA stuff. Let's kind of scroll the leaderboard and let's see what we got here. Or maybe we've got our probability list. So here we go. You know, you've got Lee, this lovely guy in #1 spot here. And I guarantee you right now he is freaking out. Like, scrolling the board, Jason Day, you know who's in that board? Brendan Todd. Brendan Todd, this guy is like, he came back from the dead. And we scroll way down the end. Gary Woodland, my boy, is in there. Brendan Little, one of my best friends, is his caddy. And then I think I scroll down to old 44 there for Tiger Woods coming in a +2. Not dead yet. Let's watch this. High-Tongue Lee's leading. Tommy Fleetwood, Jason Day, Daniel Berger, Brooks Koepka, Justin Rose. I got a soft spot for Justin Rose. He is like he started using my smart ball years ago and he broke the internet for me. So Justin Rose, I'm always rooting for you. Harold Varner, you know, has got the short game wizard. Colin Morikawa's in the thick of things. Fantastic. Rory McIlroy's right there at even par. So fasten your seat belts for the weekend, everybody. This one's going to get full in. Popcorn here, beer here. Click. Let's go. And then let's look at the probabilities. Okay, pop that video on, Producer Steve. Producer Steve's over here going, I can't even get a sip of coffee in here. I pressed too many buttons. You know, you got Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka has got 11% win chance right now. He's 2 back. So what do they know? High-Tongue Lee is like, oh, come on, dude. Give a guy a little respect here. I know I've never been in this situation. I probably got to change my underwear 4 times around. But you know what? I think I can get this done. You know, Jason Day is going to hold it out on 14. Jason Day's in 2nd place here. You know, and he's kind of a little resurgence. You know, Jason Day got really svelte. He got his bikini body. He was working out, getting all yoked. And then he decided, you know, I like dessert. I'm going to have a few more desserts. He put a few more pounds on. And now he's kind of back into that mid-range Jason Day where he's not trying to be bikini body, but yet he's strong. I think he's kind of comfortable with himself. Tommy Fleetwood, though, 7.3 strokes gained. You know what that means, everybody? Between making a few putts and driving it like a champ, this guy is the ball striking Mariah this week. So we'll see if he can continue that. Tommy Fleetwood, would be nice to see him break through. He's obviously an amazing player. Who's going to do it? There's your top 10 for win percentage. Could be one of those dudes. Could be somebody. Could be Rory. Could be Tiger. We'd love to see a run from somebody back like that. I think it'd be cool. All right, so this episode, simple tips to sink more putts. You know, I've had a love affair, hate relationship with my putter my whole life, okay? I've always been a good putter. I've never been a great putter. Now, I want to teach you how to be a good putter. And if you're lucky, maybe you become a great putter. Great putters come to mind. I'm going to show you some clips here in a little bit, but I grew up with Mike Weir. Mike Weir, Canadian guy, lefty, plays from the wrong side of the ball. If you were doing this show, you'd be looking at this the whole time. Mike Weir was a great putter. What makes up a great putter? People that don't three-putt are good putters. If you have pace control and you can roll your potato down the green and stop it within 10% of your starting form, 10%. So if I'm 40 feet, 4 feet, 50 feet, 5 feet, 60 feet, 6 feet. Those are very good putters. Add me to that category. I rarely three-putt, once in a blue moon, but typically I'm pretty good deadweight putter. So if I hit a bunch of greens, I have a lot of two-putts. Occasionally I'll stuff it. I'll make those tap-ins. Now what makes a great putter? A great putter, those putters that can clean up all those little percentages, okay? We've got some, producer Steve was kind enough to put some stats down on the board over here. You can't see the old whiteboard. PGA average numbers within 6 feet, okay? 6 footers, 65% of all putts going from within 6 feet. That's pretty good. So 90 from like 3 feet, 95%. Those people walk in. Not Ricky Fowler though. Ricky Fowler is going to make that percentage go down to sliver. Somebody's going to be mad at him at the end of the season, right? Those are little crucial putts. Within 10 feet, 40%. Now, if you're putting well, guess what? That's a 50-50 proposition from 10%, from 10 feet rather. So when you're watching the tour players, here's my thing. I always say, you know, the most important club in your bag is not this one. It is not. Now, if you're a complete spaz, then you might call this one the most important putter, the most important club. The most important club is the driver, the play club. You got to get off the tee. You got to get in play somewhere in that cone where the golf course exists out there, whatever your distance is off the tee, whether it's 200 yards, 170 yards, or 350 yards. Like some of these kids can pound it nowadays. This club, I would say, is probably the second most important. And this modern golf putting episode is all about that, okay? I mean, you got to look at putting. What makes a putter good is, I'd say, short-term memory. Great shooters in basketball. Great shooter in basketball might take a ball, take a pass, look, shoot, and miss. The best thing about that shooter, or the best thing about the putter, is short-term memory, because their thought is, you know what, I just missed, therefore, I'm going to make. If I missed, then the next one I'm going to make. Whereas we go the wrong way, if we miss, we go, oh God, I missed, I'm going to miss again. You know who's going through a little bit of a putting dilemma right now? Jackson Chuck, my little guy. He's all into golf right now. He's playing some great golf. And now he's all worried about putting. I'm like, buddy, don't ever say anything out loud. You're not allowed to say you suck. You're not allowed to say any words emit to the cosmos. Keep them internal. Say, I could have putted better today. Never say you suck. Never say you're a bad putter. Don't let anybody hear that. You know why? Because if you start saying that, you're going to start believing it. Let's go ahead and get into the stuff about putting. I want to get into, guess what, who won this putter? We had a little giveaway, people, and just follow me on Instagram, Martin Chuck PGA. If you can't spell it, I can't help you. Martin Chuck PGA. And guess what? We have good winning stuff. And you just, Trey Etheridge, my man, you just won this Tour Stroke by Evenroll. Congratulations. This is getting shipped out to you on Monday. And we hope that you can a bunch of putts and maybe use these putting tips to help you get a lot better. So basic setup things. You know, in putting, you're allowed more latitude than anything else. I'm a massive stickler for GASP when it comes to full shots. Grip, address, stance, and posture. Massive. Putting, you can do tons of stuff. In fact, I've got all kinds of different putters in the garage here. I could pull a couple out and we can talk about it. You know, we got arm lock putters. We've got these kind of putters. People have sent me every kind of putter under the sun. I've tried every kind of putter under the sun. You know, Sammy Snead before the USGA said, he putted like this. And you know what? It was a great way to putt. The USGA looked at that and go, that's not in the intent of the game, so we're going to ban this. And then Sam Snead went to something like this and was pretty good at it, but it wasn't quite as good as when he straddled the line and kind of did this croquet style. So grip, stance, posture, ball location, some of the basics, okay? We've got, let's go face on down the line, Producer Steve. I've got my Well Putt putting mat, okay? My Well Putt putting mat, it's a great putting mat. You know, it represents pretty much the stimp on a decent to fast green somewhere, you know, somewhere in the 10, maybe 10 and a half. And you got to put it on something kind of firm. It's on these pretty firm carpet tiles. And down range here, I know it's hard to see in the down line camera, but let's go down the line, producer Steve. You know, you've got your area where the great Yogi Berra said, you know, 99% of these putts that are left short don't go in. Words of wisdom from old Yogi. You know, but we've got to get this putt, you know, obviously to the hole, maybe beyond it in this range right here. And I've got myself in a situation where I've got a 10-footer. Now, you know, my little garage studio is, you know, 10 foot's about all I can do in here. I wish I could go back to 60 feet. That'd be one big garage. I could park a camper in that thing. But some of the basics of good putting. You know, a lot is said about eyes over the ball. We'll touch on that later. But if you have something like this out there, if you have a condition where you can get yourself, you know, on a putting mat, where you can get the aim line of the putter on that, you can track your eyes down that line a series of time. And let's see, we've got the old Foresight on here. Let's see if I can get about a 5-mile-an-hour ball speed or a 4.8 right here. Roll that ball down there, and guess what? I just hit that in the 99 percentile that just might not go in, obviously, right? So shame on me. I get to tap in my, not Ricky Fowler style, but I get to tap in my 10-footer. And I don't mean to poke fun at Ricky either, by the way. I have a man crush on Ricky. He's a great dude. He's an amazing putter. That little faux pas that happened was, you know, that's an anomaly that he'll learn a little lesson from that. But elements that can help you putt better. You know, we've got a little line on here. If you are somebody that has an issue with start line, and we'll talk a little bit about the basics of putting. You know, my good thing, my garage floor doesn't have much slope in it, but we can talk a little bit about green reading. But when I walk up close to this camera, you can kind of see that little line on there. Mama Chuck here got a bunch of these Kirkland balls here on special at Costco to smash around in the garage. So that's what the feature ball of the day is right here. That and the 48-roll package of toilet paper that you get for an amazing deal at Costco. So look at some of these things here. Golf ball, you guys, is just centered left in my stance, not way back here and not super forward. But there are some interesting things when you putt that you want to kind of behave. We'll get into this. Let's see if I can roll one down there right through that little cup. Give me the right ball speed. That looks pretty good. Oh, a little pull, maybe lift that one out. Not a bad putt. Went over my target, maybe with any good fortune. That lips in. Let's see, the ball speed was, there was a slight pull, two-tenths of a pull that you could see. And let's see, the ball speed was 4.9. So sometimes, I'll tell you why I love launch monitors. And I think that if you have the ability at your club, or maybe at home, I know not many people have a launch monitor. I coach all day, every day, so this is a necessary part of equipment for me. But what I find is if you can give somebody hard data when they putt, not mystery of, you know, what was that touch? What did that feel like? Well, if you hit a series of putts and you get a ball speed reading, whether it's on a launch monitor, the orange one called TrackMan, or Foresight, one of my sponsors, which I love, by the way. I love them both, but this one for indoor use is amazing. When a student can stand there and start to see ball speed and how it relates to the target, then they can kind of go, you know what, I can kind of figure this out. I can figure that I need a certain speed, not just this pull it out of midair feeling. I'm going to show you a drill to pull it out of midair a little bit later on in the episode. But when you can look at hard data and go, okay, that was a ball speed of 4.9. Oh, that's a ball speed of 5.8. That's a ball speed of 7.6. And see how those ball speeds kind of relate distance-wise. Now your brain goes, oh, okay, I get a feel for that. I'm going to show you how to, that's obviously something that most of you don't get to do. I'm going to show you a way that you can practice it at home, just on something we've been doing at the golf school for years and years and years. Now, just set up basics, obviously. Let's go ahead and get our club, put it right in your belly button. I'll move a little bit more on screen right here. So this is literally in my belly button. Then I'm going to put my grip on it, and then I'm going to push my arms away for a little bit. And from here, I'm going to bow over. So this is a condition where my elbows are kind of a little bit softer. They're at my sides. I'm not a big fan of locky arms. I'll tell you why. I know Bryson DeChambeau putts like that. He does everything a little bit different, let's face it. Okay, but for the most part, the longer the lever you have, right, that makes it, you've got to manage that really long lever. When the greens are super fast, you can't move that very much. And that imparts a lot of pace in the collision of face and ball. Most putters have softer elbows. They're kind of in a gunfight. Now, you know, if you watch the episode Martin Chuck Modern Golf, I always say structured arms, volleyball arms for set up for a 7-iron, set up for a driver. That's where the lead arm is strong and structured. The trail one's a little softer, but I could bump past a volleyball. Now in putting, that's not the case. I want you in kind of a gunfight situation with the elbows. I want the elbows kind of plugged into your sides of your body, kind of tickle that little tickly spot in your tummy there, and then bend that over, because this situation, that's where most golfers get when we bend over to hit a putt. We're a bit bent over, and then eyes. You know, where are the eyes? Eyes are where you see the line best. You know, every magazine, I've been guilty of this because I've just needed something to say, is that, oh, you want your eyes directly over the ball. You want to stand in here and drop this thing and drop it right on the ball. Hogwash. Hogwash. Justin Leonard, an old friend of mine from way back junior golf days, back in the, you know, this would have been in the late 80s, we kind of competed. His career, a little bit better playing trajectory than mine, but he doesn't have a great golf school like me. So, but no, Justin Leonard, you know, he was a guy that was always a great putter. Pretty good hitter of the golf ball, obviously won the British Open, had a ton of success on tour. You know what, producer Steve, if you've got that clip, let's see Justin Leonard. Let's see what, this is my favorite one, period. So there he is. Look at the focus in his eyes right there. He's kind of getting it dialed in. I don't know why I want to talk like that when I see that look, but look at, this was the Ryder Cup. This is when the U.S. had like no chance. And then here's one of those, you know, he goes, I wish I would have celebrated maybe a little differently. And that's Ben Crenshaw just going, kissing the green. But look at this putt. Across the green, the USA is getting stomped on. They're a bunch behind. And this ball thwap back of the hole. He can't believe it. Maybe he can. The rest of the world can't believe it. The Europeans certainly can't believe it. And that's another little lesson. Let's get that off there. Never underestimate your opponent. Little Jackson Chuck playing in PGA Junior League. I tell you what, he shows up there all helium-chested like, hello, I'm all Jackson Chuck. He's this big and he hits it pretty good. And once his opponent does something to kind of get under his skin, i.e. make a putt or hit a great shot that he may not expect, he's frazzled. Expect your opponent to hole every shot. Do not ever for any circumstance think that your opponent is out of the hole. Good example there at the Ryder Cup, good example in PGA Junior League with whippersnappers, okay? You always have to kind of be prepared for the unexpected in golf because it's likely going to happen. If your opponent's having a bad hole and they continue to make a mess in the bed, perfect, let them. But expect them to hole the shot. That way you're not frazzled if they do, because they're going to on you sometimes, and maybe you're watching the show and you know what I'm talking about. Then all of a sudden you're out of your elements, your body gets fired up, now fight or flight, and then you can't perform. So always expect them to do great, and you will stay in that level of competition you need. So set up basics. So here we are shooting a gun, boom, boom, right? Get these elbows to the side, bend over. Eye location. Justin Leonard liked to putt like this. His eyes were so far back, but that's how he saw the line best. So if I dropped a ball with Justin Leonard, it would drop clear in here somewhere. You know, traditionally eyes will be more inside the golf ball because that's how people tend to see the line. I rarely, if ever, see a good putter with their head way past the ball like this. So down the line, you'll see my eyes are way out here past the ball. Typically, your putter is going to find where your eyes are. And you can see that's kind of the reverse arcing stroke, you know, this kind of behavior, and that's not what we're looking for. When eyes are way more inside the line, I'm going to take a moment just to adjust this camera a sliver. Oh, can't do that because my booty's a little bit out of frame. Watch those cables, though. So what I want to do, you guys, is this scenario here. There we go. That's better. You know, if at least my eyes are too much inside, at least I get a little bit of a gating stroke where the club comes back on more of a natural arc. If my eyes are outside, I have this funky reverse U. We don't want that. So just be mindful of that, and notice how the golf ball is a little forward within my stance. Now, I rarely see good putters get into a really wide putting stance, okay? Most folks comfortably put their feet under their hip bones. Every once in the blue moon, you play on some boys' trip somewhere, girls' trip somewhere, and the wind a howl. If you go to Bandon Dunes, one of my favorite spots, go there. It's awesome. Any coastal windy spot, the wind is up, sometimes you will have to kind of batten things down a bit, widen that stance, and kind of lean into something to help you have a bit more stability when the wind's blowing. But if you're playing normal conditions, 5-10 mile an hour wind, typically you're going to have your feet under your hip bones. My bias is, you guys and gals out there, just kind of bump the weight pressure a little bit to the lead side for a bit of stability. Eyes on or inside the target line. And then when you look down, the handle, I don't really want the handle back. I want the handle vertical, mildly forward pressed. Okay, and from here you're in a pretty good position to get the ball rolling. So let's talk about putting stroke, speed, pace control, where I'm at and what you can do at home. So I'm going to give you a drill later, but I'm going to show you one of my favorite things. And this is a bit of a tribute to Kenny Rogers, okay? I know everybody knows Kenny Rogers, roasters, chicken, sold a lot of chicken. I'm talking about the country singer. That was one cool dude. He made a bunch of bad movies. He could swoon the audience. Kenny Rogers was the man. And you know what? You got to know when to hold him. You got to know when to fold him. So Kenny Rogers sang that great song. I am not going to sing that to you, but right now, listen. That is 90 beats per minute right there, okay? There is a bunch of songs, 90 beats per minute. One of my favorite is Kenny Rogers, okay? The Gambler. Check it out. Listen to that tune a couple times. Because when you get into that sound, that when you understand the rhythm of something and you walk onto a putting green, now your body's more likely to fall into that behavior. And say, Martin, what are you talking about? Kenny Rogers, the chicken guy. Well, when you have a rhythm, there's moments in a putting stroke that you can match to your rhythm. And this has helped hundreds of golfers that have come to the golf school because they don't really know how to move the putter in the right reference timing-wise. So when you heard that 90 beats per minute, there's a reference to that, you guys and gals out there. There's a sense of 0, a backstroke is 1, the touch point is 2, eyes stay passive and peaceful for 3, head rotates to look at your putt on 4. So those are behaviors, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything has a specific motion within that framework. There's a moment of readiness, which is 0, a calm. So when you see me get over a putt right now, am I ready? I'm not. But as soon as I feel like my feet are organized, my hands are comfy, and I settle in, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And that was hooped, okay? 4.6 ball speed, not enough pull to miss the putt, a fraction of pull, but it was in the hole from here, okay? So there is an athletic response. And you know what we call that, everybody? A positive distraction. When we putt, we need something positive to really sink our teeth into, and so I hope this is a fairly straight putt. If the contractor poured this slab nicely, I think it goes back to front. If this was a flood, water would want to go out that garage door. You can't see. But anyway, let's do that again. I am not ready. I am not ready. So this is my 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll tell you which nobody respects. So here's the 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, push that a little, miss to the right. The nobody respects number 3. Nobody respects the strike. Okay, everybody's a little bit anxious to see how they've done. I get it. I'm anxious. I want to know, but you have to respect the strike, laddie. So you have to respect number 3. Respect it. Okay, so the touch point. We get set up over this thing. The readiness is just settling into the putt. I feel good. My hands are cozy. Everything's nice. The backstroke is O-N-E. Here's my 1. And guess what? This doesn't change for a short putt. Here's my O-N-E for a short putt. My 2 is my 2. 3, my eyes are down, restfully looking at the spot my ball was resting on. And then 4, my head rotates to see how I've done and to maybe learn something for the next putt or two, okay? So there's really specific motions. Now a longer putt, same timing, the putter just travels faster within that space. So ready, 1, 2, the touch point. Now a lot of people just get started with a 1-2 count. That's okay. Because if you've got a ready 1, 2, 3, 4, I know ready 1, 2, 3, 4 is counting a lot for a lot of folks out there. But if you can get this positive count, this distraction, trust me, you're not worrying about the outcome. Phil Mickelson said something cool one time. He said, I just try to control my roll. And control your role, what's that mean? R-O-L-E. Do your task. Let the outcome take care of itself. We can't make it go in. All we can do is do our best. So controlling your R-O-L-E so you get a really nice R-O-L-L is all about choosing a stroke length. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. That works for you. Getting organized, settled. Here's my 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I hit that putt nicely. So if I control my R-O-L-E, every putt I hit, to me that's a win. Now if I do that, and that's my putting scorecard, everybody, I don't necessarily worry about the make-miss percentage. I worry about, can I walk up to my putt? Can I choose my start line? Because every putt's a straight putt. This putt's going to start straight. This thing might break and go out my doorway over there. I don't really care. But every putt is exactly this. They start straight. Obviously, Mother Nature, gravity, green speed dictate what the ball is going to eventually do. Wind speed dictates a lot of what putts will do, believe it or not. You know, I always plunk out a chest hair or two and throw them up and see which way the wind's blowing. Because if I've got a 5 or 6 mile an hour wind blowing into my face across me this way, guess what? That's going to make the ball start to move to the left over 10, 12 feet. So you've got to pay attention to these really cool things. Other little nuances. When you step up on a putting green and you look at the grass and you see it's kind of shiny, when you look and you see something shiny, guess what? That means that grass is laying down from your field of view. And that's what is shiny. When you see something that looks like a dull color, that grass is leaning into you. That's called grain. When you see shiny, you can think speed. When you see the dull color, the deep or dark green, that's into the grain. That's going to slow things up. That can be very helpful around the greens. Just as an example, when you putt into the dull side, when you're putting into the dull, you need to add a little bit of stroke length to make sure your ball gets there. When you see the shiny stuff, guess what? That's when the ball is going to fall down the hill. Every blade of grass leaning away from you is just the ball helping the ball tumble a little bit more and go a little bit farther. So little bitty nuances you pick up when you look at the greens, really important, okay? Shiny, fast. Dull, slow. And if you're chipping from off the green, same thing applies. If you're chipping into the dull side, guess what? It's going to stop up a bit quicker. So these are things maybe some new golfer doesn't even think about. But when you get a tour player or high-level amateur, first thing they look at the green and look at the color. And sometimes greens turn purple during the middle of the round. Like if you watched, gosh, it was Memorial a couple weeks back. They had 2 tournaments in a row. Okay, Jack hosted 2 tournaments. First week, green, plush, lovely. Certain skill set of players played great. Next week, I think Jack's water bill must not have been paid. They turned the water off. The place turned purple. Mind you, he's redoing the whole green complexes, so he was letting that kind of go and testing. Rough was high. The greens were crazy fast. They were turning brown. People were becoming aware of speed adjustments during the course of play. Add a little wind into that. Firm, fast greens, really tough to play. So you got to be aware of that. So elements of great putting. How about this one, you guys and gals? Just centeredness of strike. Okay, so when you're going through this routine of ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, readiness, just having a sense of pause. 1, the O-N-E is the backstroke. The T of 2, the T sound of 2 is the putter sweet spot touching the ball. 3, those eyes staying down as the putter exhausts itself, passing you. 4, letting this head kind of rotate to see if you made a good putt or not. We always hit a good putt. We maybe don't make the putt. Maybe we don't choose the right start line. But that's a huge bit, okay? So always have your positive distraction. Some of you guys and gals out there, you're watching this, you're like, Martin, I'm a great putter. Hey, you know what? Go watch another episode. But if you find that maybe you're not a good putter, because this stuff is really all about pace control, start line. And let's face it, if we have some pace control, we have some start line, we're going to be a pretty good putter, right? So choosing stroke length. I wore my super fancy Nike golf shoes. They have a promotion, peace and love, babies. I don't know if you can see the sole of my shoes. I'm not sure which one says peace and which one says love, but kind of cool shoes. They sent these to me. I thought, you know what? I played 1 round in these shoes. I shot 66. Maybe I should wear them every time I play. But I'll wear whatever. If I shoot 66, you send me whatever shoes, I'm going to wear them, okay? But ultimately I use my feet as kind of a stroke guide. So when I move the putter back, you know, if I let my putter swing to, say, the middle of my foot, on my ready, 1, 2, 3, and 4, what kind of pace does that produce? If I swing my putter back outside of this on my ready, 1, 2, 3, and 4, what pace and rollout does that produce? So notice that I'm not ever accelerating on purpose. The putter accelerates within the time frame you mentioned. So that's helped a ton of folks. If you struggle with distance control, what I want you to do, we'll get that in the drills. You got to hold tight for that. So common mistakes. Let's go into the common mistakes. And I have a blast. You know, I live in Chandler, Arizona, nice little suburb of Phoenix. San Marcos golf course, 100-plus-year-old golf course, nice and flat, big old trees. There's some shade on a hot Phoenix day. Pretty cool to play a Parkland-style golf course. Not enough Parkland-style golf courses anymore, I'm afraid. Too many developers out there putting like one hole here and homes on the right and homes on the left, and you got to hit it perfect. Who has the nerve for that, people? That's really hard. It's too easy to ping pong golf balls off of patios and hit barbecues, right? Parkland golf courses are a great place to learn golf because you can kind of hit it around, go find it. And when you go find it, guess what? Maybe you got a big tree you got to navigate around. That's fun, okay? Nobody likes hitting in somebody's barbecue. Sorry, didn't mean that, right? We like kind of hitting it, chasing it, being Houdini and say, did you see that par I made from the other fairway around that tree and over? That's fun. Find yourself a parkland golf course if you're learning golf, or certainly if you're taking a newbie out. Don't take them to one of these Target golf courses. They'll want to quit. Let them whack their nugget everywhere, every which way. Go find it and hit it and try to get it in the cup. So anyway, enough about my rant about parkland golf courses. Not enough of those. They were all like that when the game was thought of back in the day, or at least there were links. You had one way out, one way in. In Scotland, if you ever play, St. Andrews is great, okay? St. Andrews, you start off on the first hole. You got the first, the fifth, or the fifth, the first, whatever it's called, over to the right. You've got the 18th hole, this massive fairway to the left, and then you have this road in the Russacks Hotel. I stayed in that hotel. You think I'd remember the name of it. And you've got these shops over here. Well, I'm telling you, if you shot a gun, the bullet might fall to the sky before it gets to the road. I'm playing a foursome there, and one of my guys in my group had food poisoning, couldn't play St. Andrews. Can you imagine? Go all the way to Scotland. He's sick. He can't play. That's how sick he was. I'd have played. But anyway, he couldn't get out of bed that day. Of course, I wouldn't have played. They put a fourth in our group, okay? I can hit some miserable hooks, and I can hit some miserable blocks, and any good golfer can hit it all over the yard. But hitting it OB left an 18 at St. Andrews, that's like a badge of honor, actually. This guy, he was from Asia somewhere, did not speak English, big, strong guy, stepped up on the first tee, and boy, oh boy, did he just schwack one out of bounds left an 18. I went, wow. The starter went, ooh. And then he set up and he blocked one right of Rush Limbaugh, or sorry, right of, not Rush Limbaugh, just right. Anyway, but moving along here, I don't even know why I went on that tangent. And I know my editor's going to be like, I'm going to cut that out of this segment. But common mistakes, okay? Here's what we're going to talk about. I play in this senior thing with my wife. It's hysterical because I'm a senior now. I'm over 50. We have a ton of fun with these folks, and I play with all these putters. And most of which, some are good, some are terrible. Let me show you the traits of the terrible putters. And if you're this person, you can put your hand up, and then whoever's watching in your house watching this, they'll think, what are you doing? Oh, Martin says, I have this trait. And this is the trait of a terrible putter. The terrible putter does not have quiet lower body below the belt. So as I hit this putt, watch my fancy pants here from Nike Golf. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I got a little stone or something there. I would have hooped all these things. But everything from the belt down is quiet, people. The only thing we really want moving is kind of the rib cage and up. Pants, quiet. Rib cage, shoulders, elbows, arms, they can move a little bit. Cease the booty motion. Quiet lower body. Okay, so that's something you can do. Easy to do. You can take an aim stick. Here's a goodie. This is what I like to do. If I've got somebody who is moving all over the yard, we will take a PlaneMate band, and we will take this, and we will pop this through here, and we will put this visual right here, and check it out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, if you have any of this, it's super easy. And also, guess what? You've got an alignment aid. So when you set up in here and you're doing your nice positive distraction, ready, 1, 2, 3, and 4, go, doink, in. you notice I didn't have a lot of motion right there. Okay, so that's one thing that you guys can pay attention to. Big, big deal. Quiet lower body. Guess what else you can pay attention to? These forearms. Another thing. Check it out. If I see forearms that are aiming all over the place, guess what? You're probably hitting it all over the place. If I can get these through here without pulling every hair off my arm, I will show you. I'm going to show you right now. So here's what I see. What does Martin see? Martin sees a lot of this. Martin sees forearms that are not pointing parallel to the intended target line. So if you look at the down the line situation, that's what I see. What I want to see is when you get over a putt, can you get those forearms generally parallel? So we can get those generally parallel, and you'll notice on the left screen, there's an angle, the aim stick's angled up. Why? Because my hands are not level on the putter. My trail hand's below my lead hand, and that changes the pitch. But on the down the line screen up there on the right, you know, we've got a parallel relationship here. So once again, you can have this ready, 1, 2, 3, 4. Putt goes in. Thank you very much. So those are some things I am looking for as far as squareness goes. Pretty easy for you guys to self-regulate your squareness. Now, you know, everybody's got a great camera these days. You can watch yourself. Back in the day, I'm going to say even, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, you had to have a fancy camera with slow-mo. Now you've got a device that's got a great camera. Why don't you set it up, lean it against your golf bag. When you hit a few putts, check and see if you're shaking the lower body around. Those alignments are massive, so that when you move yourself, you have the best chance of delivering a reliable arc of your putter. Don't set up to fail. You want to set up for success. Let's take away the elements that you are in control of. Next thing, stroke-related stuff, and then we'll get into the myriad of grips you can do, okay? So stroke-related behavior, this is what I see. You know, I see a lot of folks with this short little backstroke, and then this stabby through stroke. We need some element of if you want to make those sounds are helpful too. But I'd way rather see too long a backstroke and a putter that doesn't accelerate like crazy through the golf ball. And you're going, but Martin, I thought you had to accelerate. If you want to look at something cool, just look up Tiger Woods, the GOAT, probably the best putter ever. Jack Nicklaus. They didn't have this look, you guys. They didn't have this, got to get through the ball. You know why? Because they create, Ben Crenshaw comes to mind. They create enough backswing so the collision of putter and ball, you know, they had this beautiful look of, and I wish I had this putting stroke, but it's not something in my DNA from as a kid, but it was more of a swing, strike, and their putter kind of stopped, you know, and it was like, man, that was lovely. So they had enough backstroke, putter exhausted itself, rather than the guys and gals that I tend to play with in couples Sunday. I see this putter goes back a wee little bit, and then there's a whew. You know, way too hard to judge that. Way too hard to judge that. And finally, you know it. You're like, Martin, what about, say it. What about keeping your head down? I'm going to say, yeah, because guess the only time I will tell somebody to keep their head down is putting. And I'll come back to number 3. Nobody likes number 3. I don't know what number 3 did to deserve it. Respect the strike, everybody. When you get over a putt, we have a sense of ready. Backstrokes 1. Sure, everybody's engaged for that because that's important, right? Backstroke, strike 2. This moment, you probably can't see this on camera. There's a cool little dot on this well putt mat. Okay, it's perfect. So as we get over this putt, and we're organized to hit a putt, here's the ready, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that 3, man, I enjoy that spot right there, because if I can go ready, 1, 2, 3, pretty good chance I've had a centered strike. If you hit the ball, even if with a great even roll putter like this, if you hit the ball too much on the toe, that putter is going to wiggle a bit. Ball gets started to the right. If you hit it on the heel, ball gets started to the left. So I bet you'll find this. Go find a breaker, a 5 or 6 foot breaking putt. Most of you guys over there are going to underread the break. Okay, if we were at the golf school, we'd do a pretty elaborate green reading session with all the students. The golf school, not stool, the golf school is starting up end of October in Phoenix, people. You know you want to come. It's super fun. I will heckle you and tease you and build you up and break you down and help you become a better golfer over 3 days with my assistants. So you need to check that out at tourstriker.com. Come to the golf school. You will have a blast, I guarantee you. And the continuity program after the golf school is fantastic. But don't think for a second that centered strikes, you know they're important with your driver, just as important with your putter. If you hit it all over the face, you don't get the same energy off the putt. Therefore, you got to have these elements to putt great. The 5 critical pieces of putting. You ready for this? Pace, 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 pace. That's 4 of them. And then face. Pace, 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 and face. Well, if you're hitting it on the heel and the toe all the time, guess what you don't have control of? 4 of the 5. You don't have pace control because you get bad feedback. You have questions from the audience, anything like that? Coming in and all? Just raise a hand.
You hit up or down?
Oh, good question. You hit up or down? You hit up. Thank you for the question. Somebody said in the audience, you hit up or down. The ball is fractionally forward in my stance. This putter is slightly moving upward. Here's a great little thing you can do. I am going to take a tee. I'm going to put that tee just outside the roll of the ball. So I'm going to put it, or I'll put it on the inside. So now if I hit this putt nicely, the ball is going to miss the tip of the tee. And what we want to do, I'm going to put it pretty darn close to that right there. We need a little subtle rising putter through the ball. So as I move through this ball, ready, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Thank you, hooped it. That putter is rising a little bit. 1, because the ball is forward in my stance. 2, because I'm not actively shooting my right hand at it. This is an event where this putter, much like a good golf shot, as this shoulder raises, the putter raises as well. So thanks for that awesome question. Any more questions? Put your hands up, guys. So, you know, I've kind of gotten into some of the why you sucks at putting throughout this episode. You know, another beauty is this one. Actively taking this nice angle of the trail hand and trying to do too much with that, because that's a really tough thing to govern. And when you're antsy and itchy and fidgety, there's no managing that. So if you find that you cannot squash the fidgets, there's a variety of ways to help you do that. Let me go through with a couple of these, because I've got some funky putters over the years that I keep in the old garage, right? Because I tell you what, if I found a magic bullet, I would take it, no doubt about it. So here, if you are absolutely spastic putter, here is the side saddle putting. Side saddle putting is kind of nice because you can kind of look where you're going. You can put the putter on, you can put the ball on the target line, and then from here, your trail hand does most of the job. This is perfectly legal, by the way. Roll that guy down there. Let me get these ones out of the way. That's not a bad way to go, everybody. No shame in that. I tell you what, I have a lot of respect for people that do some bizarre behaviors. Think about Bernard Langer. That guy came back from the abyss many, many times, figured out how to grip it every which way. He probably would do it like pool style if they let him. And he's only, you know, he's such a Hall of Famer, and he's 60-something. He's still a guy every week on the Champions Tour, and he putted long putter. Now he holds long putter off here and puts it this way. Arm lock is something a lot of people are doing on the regular tour. They have a longer putter, Bryson DeChambeau. The putter kind of leans up against their lead arm. That gives them a sense of stability. It takes out some of this throwy stuff. Okay, this kind of a behavior is not bad. If you find that you can't deal with the fidgets, you can go to that. The way that a lot of tour players, I'd say, man, probably 15-10%. Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Sergio Garcia come to mind immediately. They take the instinct of the right wrist from this manner, they rotate it, and they put it on the pencil grip. I want to say it was Chris DeMarco. Chris DeMarco's on the Champs Tour now, 51-ish, 50-ish. Excellent player. He'll have a win out there, I guarantee you. He's the first one that I saw back in the day who just started putting like this, and it looks, oh, he was doing this. He had this kind of thing wrapped around here, and you know, and I think most people kind of go, okay, that's kind of puts me in a funky yoga position. So rather than that, you saw some what they call the pencil grip, like you're going to kind of nicely style your name with a, you know, one of those calligraphy pens. Well, most people just kind of take their forearm, turn their back of the palm, back of their hand away from them, put that little U shape of the thumb and index finger, cuddle the bottom of the grip, and now they tend to take out, if they have any twitch, that twitch isn't in the direction of the hole, and now it gives them a little bit better pace control of the putter. So typically that's the one. And then of course what you see a ton of, you guys, is cross-handed, right? Jim Furyk was my buddy from years ago. When I first met him when I was 16 years old, he was the first putter that I saw was a really good putter as a cross-hander. You know, his father, Mike, taught him how to do that from day one, because I think he heard Gary Player say, if I had a child, I'd teach him how to go cross-handed from day one. And so Mike did that, and next thing you know, you got the legend of Jim Furyk, who's always been a hard-working putter, and I'd say an amazing putter who's earned it, who's had some ups and downs putting, who's not afraid to make a little change. The thing he hasn't changed was his cross-handed putting style. Any questions from the audience? Are we good? So don't be afraid of how you get your hands on it. It's personal to you, okay? And whatever allows you to rhythmically enjoy the Kenny Rogers 90 beats per minute. And 90 beats per minute isn't locked in time either. You can be 88, 92. What I like to do, I'll show you here in the drills, in my drills list. Let's see what we've got here. I'm going to put on my metronome, and you'll hear this ping sound. I'm going to leave that loud so you can hear that in the background. But if you put on a headset so you're not driving anybody on the putting green crazy, and you get into this situation where you feel you're ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, and obviously you're going to let that thing go a little bit. So this is your homework. Ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's exact moments in time for that putter to move, that putter to touch the ball, for your eyes to be still, for your head to release, okay? Now 90 might be quick for you, but I wouldn't go any slower than like 85, because again, you don't want this to be too thoughtful in an event. You want this to be kind of reactive. You want to choose your start line. Okay, this thing could break 45 feet. I'm still starting it dead straight and letting Mother Nature curl it the rest of the way, and maybe it goes in way over there like you're going to see at Augusta in November. Can't wait to see that course in November, how differently it plays from April. It might be way faster. We'll see how the weather is. So that's a great drill for you. Get your metronome. Just get a metronome app on your smartphone, okay? Put the metronome app on. Get that you'll figure it out. Put it on 90 beats per minute. See if that's for you. Work on that. Give a bunch of putts, which is perfect for segueing into the next drill, the ladder drill. Even leave the metronome on. The ladder drill is fantastic. You see all these different periods on this mat that are small and bigger here. Well, what I want you to do in the ladder drill is you're going to go ahead and say I hit a putt 6 feet, and you can do this 60 feet, but say I just hit one to that dot just down here. We'll see if I can kill it on that spot, okay? So same thing. Here's my ready, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what'd you notice there? Was that a huge stroke length? I think not. I only have to hit it 6 feet. So if I had to hit it 60 feet, ready, 1, 2, 3, 4. So same tempo, way different putter speed. That's something that Dave Pelz in his studies, genius Dave Pelz, found years ago doing studies about putting. So let's see if I can hit a little putt down there, have it stop close to that spot. Ready, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, not too bad. It rolled by about 4 inches. Now, can I hit one and just leave it just a hair short of that? Ready, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, okay, so that's a hair short. That's good. Say I would have hit that one and would have stopped here. Now I don't have that much space. I want to see how many balls I can roll and not go past the one ahead of me. That's great pace control. Then you can do that. I'm in a small confined space here, but pick something that's, say, 25, 30 feet and see if you can roll a ball. Let's choose dimensions, okay? So 25 foot, go put a coin down there. Roll a ball up short of that coin. Okay, you got to score 1. Put another coin at, say, 15 feet. So everything's got to go past 15. Stop before 25, but you want to incrementally stop these balls shorter than the next. That's a great drill, okay? Now, here's one I saw David Toms doing. Call this the David Toms drill. Get yourself a quarter. If you have a putter like mine, an even roll, you want to put that putter kind of in that area where the heel toe balance has been taken away. Now you have a situation where if I move my putter too quickly, guess what happens to that coin? It comes off. So this is great for grip pressure, because if you put any kind of hit, that's like pulling the tablecloth out on the table, and all the glassware probably go all over the place, but I'm amazed how people do that. But put that coin on there, and then let's get the rhythm of keeping that coin on that putter. Because, see, I just lost it. You want a great drill for grip pressure? The coin drill, okay? And then if you really want to be amazing at it, put some sticky stuff right there. I'm just kidding. You want a nice clean putter, put your coin on there, and then let's hit some putts, okay? And let's see if we can keep that coin on there, because that's a big, big test. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And guess what? The coin stayed on there. Do some of those. That's a fantastic one. And don't put any sticky stuff on there. I'm just kidding. You want to see if your transition, when you change direction, is quick. That coin will fall off. We don't want that. So in my putting notes, what did I say is my 5th drill? Ladder drill, start line drill. So many good putting drills. I tell you what, when I get to a putting green, you guys, if I've got a tournament or something like that, I don't even putt to a cup. I will take a coin, and I'll just take my focus and bring it in a little bit. I'll even use a dime, something super tiny, because if I'm putting to something that small, right, and you get comfortable kind of getting over that and doing your routine, getting into your comfortable ready position, checking it out, ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you hear that tink of a ball rolling over a coin, and you do that time and time again, really dials in your focus. And now when you look at a cup's a big basket in comparison. So the more you putt to something tiny, the better off, okay? Putt to something tiny. Now, great drills for putting. There are tons of them. Take a cup, find yourself a crazy breaker. Find yourself a great breaking putt, okay? Put a coin down so you kind of can govern where you're going to start. And then what you want to do is go ahead and stand back behind it, and then casually just whack a couple of putts, track the thing. It might take you 10 times to do this, okay? Just stand there casually and just kind of roll a ball and stay back and watch as this thing curls, 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 curls. And then take notice of where that ball actually crested, where the apex of that putt was, okay? Then you're going to take a tee. You got a coin there so you don't forget where your spot was. You've hit about 5 or 6, maybe 7 random putts out there, because you'll get one of them that makes perfect sense, that has decent speed in the right arc. And then watch where that thing crested, and as you see it going, kind of keep your eyes on there. Put a tee in at where you think the apex is. Now you've got a great little drill to just putt that ball down in this crazy breaker. So this tee would be out there maybe 6, 8, 10, 12 feet, depending on the chosen length. But now you want to see if you can get this ball just kind of going right around that guy, and then let it exhaust itself. In my golf school, I always say, okay, everybody, come on the putting green. They're all standing there. I go, what's faster, an uphill putt or a downhill putt? And then I look and I wait, and somebody goes, oh, downhill putt's faster. I'm like, oh, really? And then we have a nice slope at the green at the Raven, so I go to the big slope, and I take a ball, and I stand on the slope, and I go, and I let it roll as it trickles slowly, and it slowly rolls. I say, I'll be back. I'm going to get a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. And the ball trickles down the slope, and it stops 15, 20 feet with no force at all. And as the people are usually standing there and it rolls, I say, a fast putt is a slow putt. Think about it. There's not much surface friction. Gravity takes a vent. And when you have to see the speed, people. Okay, when you tap a fast putt, it's downhill, and you're just praying for it to stop. You tap it, and you wait, and it trickles, and you wait, and you wait. And the thing you have to understand about that is those super long length of journey, like long length of time putts, they take the maximum break getting from where you tapped it to where it stops. Okay, verse, guess what? I'll go down that hill, and then I'll whack a putt up the hill. It goes A to B way faster up a hill. The ball velocity is way faster up a hill than it is down a hill. And guess what you get? You get the lovely banana, meaning that say you had a putt, you're putting it down the hill, and that grade is, say, 4 or 5% down the hill, 6% down the hill. That's a lot. Okay, you tap this ball from here, it rolls down that slope, it goes slowly, you pray for it to stop. The same one, you got to smash up the hill. My point is, the faster a putt goes, the less it breaks. The slower a putt goes, i.e. the fast putts, the more it breaks. So what you get is a straight or one of these, the same putt, depending on whether it's uphill or downhill. That's why you get that banana shape. The outer perimeter of the banana breaks more than that inside part of the banana, okay? So see that kind of crescent-y shape. Uphill putts, you got to hit them a little straighter. Downhill putts, you got to respect the strike, got to respect the break the most, and let that thing tumble slowly. Pray that it stops, hopefully in the cup, okay? So some nice insights for you. We're going to wrap up the putting episode, people. Wrap up topics, okay? The even roll giveaway. Trey Etheridge, congratulations, man. We did that giveaway last night at 7 p.m. Trey, we're going to ship that putter to you on Monday if you're watching. Congrats. I hope you enjoy the tour stroke as much as I do. Guys, got to follow me on YouTube. We're going to do giveaways all the time. You go ahead and hit that subscribe button, wherever it is down there. Subscribe. Come on now. Okay, that way you won't miss a post. I post all kinds of random stuff during the week on YouTube that might be helpful. Instagram, Martin Chuck PGA. MartinChuck PGA. You got that. Follow. There's a lot of little ephemeral bits. CEO Jared, ephemeral. Short-term little insight nuggets for you, okay? Occasionally I'll tie one of those into a video for you. And then Golf Pass, people. Golf Pass, the Golf Channel. They've got this great thing, Golf Pass. I'm one of the contributing coaches. Been on there for years. I love it. There's a lot of great nuggets in there. And the coaches, Martin Hall. I just love his accent and his great golf content. You know, Chris Como, Sean Foley. I'm Cameron McCormick. Andrew Rice, my good buddy. Awesome coaches, tune in. And then they have all these cool segments from all the tour stars and stuff, a lot of fun. Tiger just taught you how to hit the 2-iron stinger yesterday for those of you that still have a 2-iron. I don't. But anyway, if you want to know how to do that, you can watch yesterday's bit. What's in the bag for next week? Guess what? The Hanma gear is in. Okay, the Hanma gear, most of it's in. I'm waiting on my 3-wood and my hybrid, but everything else is in. And I got to tell you what, it is fantastic. Like, I am gushing over my new gear. The irons, if you are in the market for new gear and you don't test out these TR20s, okay, shame, shame, shame. Don't just go big OEM on me. Don't just go big OEM. Go check out Hanma. TR20 line, people. I've got a little mixed set in there. I've got the V's, the cavity backs from the wedge. I've got some cool sand wedges too. The cavity backs, okay, up to the 6-iron, and then I've got the P's. I got a little slot back for a little bit more ball speed on the 5-iron and the 4-iron, okay? I've got the TR20 driver in the bag. I'm still waiting on my 3-wood and my hybrid, guys, but they had to do some sexy shaft for me. But we're going to hopefully do a what's in the bag, and I'm telling you, don't just go big OEM. Check out Hanma. They are fantastic. You will love it, I guarantee it. And, of course, my sponsors, Hanma, thank you. Nike Golf for the swag. Remember, babies, peace and love. Nike Golf and Foresight Sports, we really appreciate you. Who am I missing? Oh, Even Roll. Thank you for the giveaway stuff for that. We're going to do that from time to time. So, everybody, thank you so much. Remember, popcorn here, beverage of choice here. Put on the seatbelt. PGA Championship this weekend. Who's going to win? I don't know, but it's going to be fun. So Martin Chuck signing off. Have a great week. We will see you next week for episode 14. Crazy. Maybe by the time episode 100 rolls around, I'll get good at this. Let's go ahead and hit another putt, producer Steve, and he will fade us to black. I'm going to go through my routine right here. I am ready. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and oh, good try. Control my ROLE. Have a great day, everybody.